Welcome back to the Tech Talks Daily podcast, your go-to place for catching up on the evolving tech landscape, its impact on our lives, our business, and indeed our world. I'm your host, and today I'm ready to embark on another fascinating journey through technology. And my guest today is the co-founder and CEO of a company called Visartech. And they're a company dedicated to transforming business challenges into intelligent and interactive solutions, all through customized software. And their CEO, and Slava, their CEO, he emailed me, said, Neil, I'd love to come on the podcast. There's so much I'd love to talk about. And as I always say at the end of every episode, my door is open to each and every one of you. So it's a pleasure to get him on here. And Visartech's rich portfolio does include diverse projects ranging from metaverse platforms to SaaS products, WebGL solutions, and many more. And he also has 13 years of experience under his belt. And in that time developed somewhat of a knack for applying technology to various business niches, or niches, as my US friends would say. But today he's going to be sharing his unique perspectives and insights, drawing from his expertise in areas like digital twin solutions, remote work practices, and dive into the world of Visartech and the rising trend of serious games, the transformative potential of 3D technology, and how businesses can leverage these innovative approaches for a better, more optimized future. And with the scene set, I'm going to ask you to buckle up and hold on tight as I beam your ears all the way to Germany, where Slava is going to dive right in, where me and Slava are going to dive right into this conversation now. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell everyone listening a little about who you are and what you do?
Hello, my name is Slava. I'm a CEO and co-founder of WizardTech Incorporated. Basically, we're a custom development studio. We do software and our main just like VR, AR, and 3D. So we started as game developers at some point back in 2010, and now we're mostly concentrated on like that niche, more for businesses, less for maybe I don't know why.
Oh man, I feel there's got to be a story there, how the company has evolved. So can you tell me a little bit more about how all this came together, and also right here in 2023, what Visartech does and some of those unique challenges you seek to address through your customized software solutions for any business leaders that could be listening?
Yeah, so like basically probably we started with virtual reality back in 2014. Before that, we were doing game development. And before that, even before that, before the company was founded, we were like focusing on, I personally was focusing on iOS development. At some point, I realized like, oh my God, it's so boring. Just you do application, you just connect to an API, you get data, you show the data. Oh my God. And I realized like, I'm not able to do that for my entire life. So I tried game development and it was fun, maybe sometimes too much. But I don't know, at some point businesses, they started to demand more like us. We call those applications serious games. So it's like games, but it's more about, I don't know, like training, education, some sort of like aspect. And since then, probably 2014, we're mostly focusing on those applications. And still to this day, as you can see, it's growing with Apple Vision Pro release. Its market is doing another iteration. It's probably the third one. So hopefully this one will be more successful than previous ones.
100%. And when I was researching you before you came on the podcast, I quickly learned you've got a wealth of experience in some pretty exciting areas, from digital twin solutions, metaverse platforms, and SaaS products. So can you share a little about how you personally apply technology to diverse business niches and some of the outcomes you've seen as a result? Because I always try and get people thinking differently about technology and the kind of business problems it solves. So I'd love to hear more about what you've seen.
So as I started my career as a developer, I have really diverse expertise, like as a technical person, as a user, as a business owner, as a manager. So I always try to apply the newest technologies, and so does our company do the same. We usually, like most of our cases, are something innovative, something on the edge of, like existing technologies, existing possibilities of the hardware. I Personally, also, I like to use virtual reality. I believe it's the future, definitely, of the world. Yes, we use Zoom, for example, just to communicate, and we can sit on different continents with no problems. Remote is the new normal. Yes, still after the coronavirus, you can go to office right now, but no one actually wants to do that. Just maybe sometimes to socialize with your friends, that not to work, maybe.
Yeah.
Our company, we're like fully remote since coronavirus. Probably we shifted to remote, and it's so much better. We have people all across the globe working together, different culture, different nations. No problems at all. People connected over one goal. So I believe it's the future. Like virtual reality and more immersive collaboration will bring us hopefully more peace to our world, because we see Russian invasion to Ukraine and other wars hopefully not coming, but on the horizon, yes. And somehow I believe this immersive technology will help us to reduce, the heat and just let people speak to each other.
Yeah, 100% with you on that. I always say at the end of every episode, technology works best when it brings people together, and boy, do we need some of that right now. And one of the things that stood out to me about what you're doing here is your focus on optimizing IT infrastructure. So can you tell me a little bit more about how you refine IT performance using things like DevOps practices to save businesses funds wisely? Because again, we're in this moment of uncertainty, and not just global conflict, but also economic uncertainty. Every business challenge, we're doing more with less, and there's a huge focus on the business value and ROI of every tech project and every IT department. So how are you refining IT performance?
So you're right, actually. Like there's like those like crises are not ending, like coronavirus, war, yes, and it's before we had like a few economical things, and I believe in future we'll have every maybe once a year, once a 2 years we'll have a new crisis. So it's just the world we're living in. Basically, like what to do, like we do something new for companies so they can stand out on the market, they can adapt faster. And what I see is like the pace of the market, the pace of the world is growing. Sometimes it's stressful, yes, but technologies help to sustain that and help businesses to grow. Usually, like our clients, they ask us when they connect to us, they ask us to help them basically like develop something new for less, and at the same time reduce maintenance costs. So as a former engineer, probably the biggest thing we do in our company is we concentrate on engineering, on architecture. So from the very beginning of the development phase, from the very foundation, we make this strong, really metal strong foundation of any application. At the same time, we try to make it simple. So our business customers, they can, just start simple and add new modules in the future. If you do bad foundation, you won't be able to, simply add something in the future or change something. If it's good, it's very modular. You can just exclude some models, include something, and be more flexible. You have more customers, okay, onboard more customers, the system will automatically scale to retain the demand. You have less customers, scale it down, include some modules, adapt. So I believe, dynamic flexibility is like two things which helps, businesses to thrive in this uncertainty.
And as an ex-IT guy, I got very fond memories of doing everything in a test environment before it goes into the live environment. And one of the things that really excites me now is digital twin technology. It kind of takes everything to a whole new level. So for anyone new to this concept, can you tell me more about implementing a digital twin ecosystem, what it entails, and also the benefits that it offers to businesses as well?
Again, like it's definitely a next step. Like before, like people try something, you can simulate, you can build a whole factory, simulate like processes, predict problems, train people to behave, what they need to do in case of emergency. So definitely it helps. And like, for example, virtual reality simulator where you can just, like how to escape the burning facility, for example. Without that, you need to conduct like real training. It's so expensive. You need to stop production, and it's almost impossible. But basically, like we always do some tests. As you mentioned, there's always a test environment. We call it like development stage environment before it goes to production. It goes several quality check cycles. We do some automating things, like we automate testing, because when you face with something visual, it's really hard to catch all of those problems. You cannot be sure there are no problems. For example, the user's avatar can stick inside the wall, yes, and sometimes it happens, and sometimes it's frustrating. You don't want once with one of our clients, they had like really huge event inside their metaverse with potential investors. I will not tell the company's name because it's like, but it's definitely Fortune 500. And the main person who was responsible for taking the decision appeared somehow almost without clothes. Yes. Luckily, we yeah, that was like a huge confusion for our client, but luckily we made some precautions, and even basic avatars were wearing, shirts and some simple pants, like yoga pants. So it wasn't so bad. Yes, it wasn't like a disaster. I just want to point out, like with like more immersive applications, you have, like this kind of naked king problem and similar things, which we can have, I don't know, which we would like to avoid that kind of confusion.
I love this. And I also love how we're demystifying technology, especially for business leaders that hear about these technologies, but a little unfamiliar on the kind of value that they can deliver. And I also read that Visartech also provides WebGL solutions. So can you explain how enhancing a user experience with 3D web canvas, how that can transform the way a business interacts with their customers or indeed their users?
So again, there's no big magic. Like there are two ways to get an application. You can open a web browser or you can download it. Sometimes, if we're talking about like corporate clients, you're very limited on what applications you can install, and you need to contact your administration department. They need to, I don't know, like you need to make a ticket. They will install some software, we get applied, and sometimes that software, some like network capabilities, network ports are blocked, so they just simply cannot use it. So for some customers, we build web-based solutions because usually there are such big limitations which websites they can visit, and you only need to whitelist a website, for example, even in a stricter environment, and that's it, because we use some common network ports, no restrictions, and people just open a website and voila, they are inside the experience. So it's just easier. Sometimes, like I would say, like when you use web technologies, sometimes you have more technical challenges because web browsers they're much more optimized comparing to what we had, I don't know, like even like 2 years ago. But still, you have some technical challenges with graphics, with high-end applications, and sometimes it's not so easy comparing to standalone applications.
And again, when I was doing a bit of research on Visartech, I read that you successfully have delivered more than 170 games and business apps and developed 1,600 plus 3D models. But I've got to ask, if you look back at everything that you've created here, that business value, what's your most memorable projects or something that stands out? Is there anything that really stands out to you?
Probably our first project. We started that company with my partner, our CTO, Anatoly. And we like had the very first client, and that client, he was probably from Portugal. I don't remember. It was like almost 12 years ago. So, and he had really a great idea. He remembers it was a time of like early Instagram, early social networking. So everything was like really fresh. And he had idea to build like social network for dog owners, where they can post photos, exchange information. So basically like Instagram just for dogs. So you can have your profile, you can have your dogs. Each dog has own profile. It was really, really good idea at that time, and we implemented it successfully. It was doing well. There were some customers, but probably project haven't soared up, too much, too high, or maybe a lack of marketing, I would say, at that time. Because at the beginning of like mobile market, I remember customers were doing like amazing applications, and some of them like were making like tons of money. For example, the guy who made like a torch app and made $1 million, just a torch app, yes. But at some point, the market, like people start, the gold rush started and people started like doing a lot of applications. And in order to stand out, you actually need to do a lot of marketing. But people were not, like much aware about that and not connected to marketing, I don't know, like business operations. They were like just visionaries with good ideas. But that one was fun.
I think you're ahead of your time. You need to bring that back. I saw a program the other night about dogs getting married. So, man, if they're going to get married, they're going to need somewhere to put those wedding pics. So a dog social network for sure. And we also talk about the metaverse, especially for remote collaboration. I'm curious from what you're seeing, because you're working right in the heart of this. How has the adoption been amongst some of the big tech companies, some of the big businesses, and what kind of feedback have you received around that?
We made like maybe more than 5 metaverses so far, like big ones, much more smaller ones, but still a lot of big ones. And people love them. Like a lot of corporations use them for entertainment. For example, if you have, 50,000 employees, it's really hard to make like some corporate events, but in metaverse, you can do whatever you want. Yes, you can gather the whole stuff in one world, yes, and entertain them virtually. So at least they can collaborate, and especially when like a lot of companies practicing remote collaboration, it's really good. Same applies for education and even for kids. This year we participated in, with our client, we participated on South by Southwest, the conference in Austin, Texas. And they were presenting one of the metaverses connected to education for K-12 kids. So kids love those things because they're much more native comparing to us inside the immersive thing. You think like they play a game, but actually they study same subjects, just more interactive, and they can do some cool things. I believe it's really good for them because it motivates them to learn harder. And despite the real world, where you can have books that, I don't know, you can have, even if you have like a TV or projector in your classroom, still it's just like something 2D. It's just like theoretical. In metaverse, they can be around like a 3D model of volcano, and they can see the eruption in real time, so they're actually inside some of those like scientific events, and there are no limitations. There are no limitations at all.
And if I was to take you back in time to November last year, we all would have seen articles on our news feeds of people predicting the future. What tech trends are we all going to be talking about in 2023? And I don't think any futurist spotted ChatGPT or Meta's Threads. Nobody saw that coming. But I'm going to give you a shot at this now. So as we look towards the future of technology, I'm going to ask you to look in that virtual crystal ball. Where do you see the biggest opportunities or tech trends that businesses should be ready for? And equally, how are you at Visartech positioned to address some of these emerging trends too?
I would split it, into like, once is like front office and back office. Yes, probably. Yep. Inside like our company, we use a lot of AI tools to develop applications faster, cheaper, with higher quality. We generate like some automatic testing with this specialized application. And we started to do that not so long ago, maybe less than a year. So at the time, of ChatGPT was emerging, I realized, okay, we need to utilize AI, otherwise we'll lose the competition with other companies. It's one side. Another one, I would say, what I see now, the demand from our customers, our potential customers, there's a huge demand in content generation. People want to generate golf courses, people want to generate avatars, people want to generate all sorts of art, all sorts of content, even music, pictures, everything. So it's probably a little bit sad for artists or for creators. At the same time, for example, our artists, our creators, they just use AI. They just, fine tune it. They do the magic. They speak to it and receive the content in exchange. So everything is getting more magical, I'd say. But I wish to have a castle, I don't know, with a knight inside. And voila, you get it.
Man, you got me there straight away with the castle. So I can't thank you enough for coming on here today and sharing your insights on things like digital twin solutions, metaverse platforms, SaaS products, etc. But before I let you go, I'm going to ask you to leave one final gift to everyone listening, and that is a book that means something to you or has inspired you that we can add to our Tech Talks Daily Amazon wish list. All I'm going to ask is, what would you like to leave us with and why?
Probably one of my favorite books, which probably changed how I perceive business, how I perceive the collaboration with people and, the society in general, was a book of a great author, Dr. Itzhak Adizes, and they called the Ideal Executive, where he explains that it's possible to be an ideal person, which is kind of obvious, yes, but at the same time, he explained why. He split people in 4 major groups for psychological, I would say, groups of those people. And he recommended how you should assemble teams, how you improve their performance, so on. So that changed my perception on how people should collaborate and improves our company probably at the same time.
Awesome. Love that. And for anyone listening, just wanting to find out more information about Visartech, we've covered so much in a short amount of time today. If anyone wants to find out more about any of the areas we discussed or even contact you or your team, where would you like to point everyone?
Probably website is the best place to know what we're doing. It's pretty big, has a lot of articles, a lot of content explaining how we're doing. And mine probably, if it's more personal, my LinkedIn page is the best place. Connect, message me. I'm always happy to share some information, some ideas.
Awesome. I'll add a link to your LinkedIn and your website now. Is it visartech.com? There's that many different URLs now. Which one is it?
WizardTech.com, yeah.
Awesome. I'll pop that in there as well. Love chatting with you today. And I think we've covered so much in a short amount of time. But I always say technology works best when it brings people together. And I love what you're doing here as almost a software technology partner that's helping businesses solve their challenges through customized software solutions. And I can't thank you enough for bringing your unique perspectives and valuable insights to the show today. All too often we can get lost in the buzzwords, and I love how we've started with you today. And it's all about the problems, all about the challenges that you're solving with technology. So thanks for sharing that with everyone today.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation, Al, and thank you for the opportunity to share a little bit of expertise and ideas with the world. Thank you for that.
So a huge thank you to Slava for joining me on the podcast today, sharing his in-depth knowledge and unique insights to the transformative power of technology. And we covered a lot there, didn't we? From the importance of adopting new technologies to the significant role of remote work and gaining valuable insights into the world of digital twin ecosystems, which particularly excites me, not to mention the transformative power of 3D web canvases and the rising trend of the metaverse in the business landscape. But let's just zoom out for a moment. I think it's clear that embracing innovative technologies, like everything we mentioned today, is no longer just an option, but it's almost a necessity for businesses seeking to thrive in today's dynamic environment. But I hope today's conversation inspired you a little and helped you think about how you could apply some of these insights into your own ventures. And if that is the case, if you've got a few ideas in your head or you want to share some things that you've been doing, remember, there's an open invite to come on the podcast and also open invite just to send me an email or a DM, and it's techblogwriter@outlook.com or Neil C. Hughes on LinkedIn, Threads, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you hang out. So that's it for today. So keep exploring, stay curious, and remember, the future is being written in the language of technology every day. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. But thank you for listening as always, and until next time, don't be a stranger.